Former President Donald Trump says he has rewritten his RNC speech following Saturday's assassination attempt, and it will now focus on unity instead of the Biden administration's policies when he accepts the party's nomination.
That's right. The former president saying the speech I was going to give on Thursday was going to be a humdinger.
There you go.
Had this not happened, this would have been one of the most incredible speeches. Honestly, it's going to be a whole different speech now. Former GOP presidential candidate Larry Elder joins us now live from Milwaukee. Larry, good morning to you. So the whole tone of the RNC has really changed, and it changed in the blink of an eye. So the president says that his speech is going to focus on unity, and in the spirit of that, former presidential candidate Nikki Haley has also been invited, and not only is she going to attend, she's going to make a speech herself. So what do you think about all of this?
Well, I think it's good news for the nation. It's probably pretty bad news for the Biden campaign because it means we're going to start focusing on the things we ought to be focusing on. Namely, are you better off now than you were 3.5 years ago? And unless you're an illegal alien, the answer is no. We've got 40-year high inflation come down a little bit. Gas prices are about 50% higher than they were. 8 million people in the country here illegally. If just 1/2% of them are here for evil purposes, you're talking about 40,000 people. And because of the way he pulled out of Afghanistan, you have all sorts of adversaries engaging in aggressive behavior, whether it's Iran, North Korea, Russia, Hamas. So the world is worse off because of Joe Biden. And if the answer is, are you better off now? Is the world better off now? Then I think the Biden campaign is in serious, serious trouble.
Larry Elder giving the speech that Donald Trump was supposed to give earlier until the obvious events of the Saturday assassination.
I'm sure it'll cover all of it.
The rest of the convention will cover it. I want to get your thoughts on this, and there was a lot to get to. Democrat Congressman Bennie Thompson is facing backlash over recent attempts to deny former President Trump's Secret Service protection. Here's what it says, the bill that he wanted to pass a month prior to Donald Trump getting convicted in New York. Quote, the disgraced Former Protectees Act would terminate service protection for individuals who otherwise qualify for it upon sentencing following conviction for a federal or state felony. This measure would apply to former President Trump. Okay, so that's what his office did. This is what someone in his office did following the shooting. A former staffer, now former for Thompson, posting on Facebook after the assassination attempt saying, don't miss next time. Let's go to the don't miss and then go to the broader picture of what the heck the congressman was trying to do there with his bill. He fired this person, but then didn't really make a statement condemning this person in his office. Right. Should a sitting senator, somebody who works for our government, not condemn something from somebody in his office like this? It seems like a missed moment by the congressman.
Well, let's consider the source. This is the same guy who referred to Associate Justice Clarence Thomas as an Uncle Tom. Same guy who in 2004, after George W. Bush won re-election, tried to decertify the results in Ohio, claiming that the Debo voting machines had been tampered with, making the same argument, by the way, that Donald Trump made after the 2020 election. Nobody called him an election denier. And then, of course, you're talking about this staffer who, minutes after this assassination attempt, posts on Facebook, he should take some shooting lessons. Next time, don't miss. And the fact that this person got fired shows you that not only has the 9-year vilification of Trump, calling him a Hitler and a Nazi and a dictator, been pathological, it's also been diabolical, which means they don't even believe it. If there was a failed attempt against Adolf Hitler, would we be sad about that, or would we be hoping that perhaps it would go forward and be successful? The fact that people are now offering sympathy to Donald Trump and sympathy to his family shows you they don't even mean it, which means it's that diabolical. They're appealing to the most base instinct of their base. Right. It's disgusting.
Well, Larry, the former president, he was supposed to take a couple days off to recover following this assassination attempt, of course. But yesterday he said he was on a plane. He's going to be in Milwaukee. He's there right now. When you see him, what will you say to him?
I'll say that, in my opinion, probably the most famous NFL catch in history is called the Immaculate Reception. I call this the Immaculate Protection. I believe that there was divine intervention to make sure nothing happened to this man. It's extraordinary. We're talking about maybe a fraction of an inch. We'd be having a very different conversation than right now. So I would cheer him on, 4 more years.
Well, it was millimeters. We would have a completely different discussion, to your point, Larry.
Yes.
And thankfully, we
No
are
question.
not there today. Thankfully, we are talking about 4-day RNC convention, of which you will be a part. Larry Elder, thank you for your time.
Right.
Enjoy your time in Milwaukee. And
Thank
with
you, Larry. Fox and Friends starts right now.